we also just get a few more of us running. So carry on, Dedan. Say hello, then I'll share.
Good evening, everyone. I think in our last meeting, from our last meeting, a lot has changed. And one of the things that has changed is, personally for me, is the fact that I was able to have a good race in Chicago, and I was able to achieve a sub 3 time. My time was exactly 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 33 seconds. So for me, that is a very, very big news to me. It's something that I've always wanted to achieve. It has taken a whole year of training to get to a sub 3 time. So I'm very happy about that. And to everyone out there, it's achievable, and it doesn't have to be a sub 3. Any time you beat your previous time, it's a very huge and big achievement. The other thing is the same way David is saying that we need to keep sharing. Yeah, some of us are here because someone like David shared his story. So, and I can say also some of the things that I was able to do in Chicago were because of people who had shared about them. So I went to Chicago knowing what to expect because someone had shared that. And you don't lose anything by sharing. Yeah, when you share, you help someone else, and you don't lose anything. So whatever we are doing, David, to share out our experiences to anyone who is coming up, is something that we need to continue doing. Our recreational running in Kenya is still, I still believe in Kenya, it's still way behind. There's a lot we need to do. There's a lot we can learn from these big races. Chicago had 40,000 participants. That's a huge number. And all the 40,000 people were doing full marathon. Yeah. And I'm sure at Stanchurch, you'll have less than 2,000 people doing, actually not even 2,000, maybe 1,000 people doing.
1,000 at most, thereabouts, yeah.
1,000 at most. So there's still a lot of work that we need to do to get at those levels. Yeah, so, and it's our responsibility as the people who came earlier to keep on encouraging others who are coming up and uplifting each other. So for me, this is a very huge opportunity to share. If you follow me on my Instagram, this week I'm sharing a recap of my race. So I'll share, I started with the pacing strategy. The next one I'll share about fueling, then about gear, and then lastly I'll share about the training. And I'm doing this so that I can help out people out there who are planning to get into racing. Yes, so yeah, thank you very much, David, for organizing this, and I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll start sharing, and I think what we are saying here is that we carry on with what we are doing. We have those experiences out there that are fantastic. We want to bring them home. I'm actually really looking forward to this race. I think there's a lot that we want to bring to just make it not just running and the PB and testing yourself, just to also have a nice experience on the route and make it a little better. And we've come a long way as recreational runners and through the representatives to try and ensure that the standards continue to get better. And we thank Stanchurch for listening as much as they can. Still lots of areas of improvement, but I think we are making strides, so we are grateful for that. So straight to the share. So basically, if you have a question, you can always post it. Mricho, your co-host, maybe you can also be noting those down.
Yes.
And we'll run through a few of the things for pre-race and race. Then the route, I mapped out the route last weekend, and anything route related, then we shall open the floor for discussions. Thank you. Just 1 second. Every time you want to share, my screen is visible. I just need to get to.
It is visible, yes.
Yes, I just need to get to the main. Let me stop and share just again. Every time I do this and I'm looking for the
slideshow,
I don't find it even after testing it.
It's next to.
I think it's hidden. Okay, so it's that cut.
Next to, yeah.
The thing was on it, the thing for Zoom. Yeah. So Tuesday, October 25, again, that we have gone through. So we are going to go through pre-race days. We had talked about this, so I'll quickly brush through them. If you are new to, because we may have some people who may be running stand chart for the, who may be doing races and they might find this jargon a bit too much. Kindly bear with us, but with time, plug into the forums where you can get to learn about it. It makes a big difference. So we are talking about nutrition and hydration. 3 to 4 days to race, which is where we are. We had said you can up the carbs, and we had had a discussion extensively about the fact that once you reduce your mileage, this is generally like textbook stuff, but in our discussions we had said when you reduce the mileage, you may not need to actually increase your carbohydrates because you are already not burning a lot. But importantly, you cut back on foods high in fat and then limiting high fiber foods. Why? Because they help to lighten the weight of the material in the intestines, reducing body weight. And then it may help to avoid the need for mid-race pit stops, because basically things like broccolis and high fiber foods are normally actually what is recommended to help you actually go to the loo a lot. But towards the race, you don't want to have pit stops in the race, so you then reduce that. So that we went extensively through. Our race day, we talked about that you must know the route. This is the actual route for stand chart. Let me minimize some stuff for Zoom here. So this is the 42-kilometer route. So it is important that you know your route. Of course, we had said that you need to study your route a bit earlier so that you can be able to actually, as you train, to be able to train in terrain that almost resembles as much as practical to where you're going to run. It is important to read notes, and I think Dedan really stressed this point that we don't read those things on that we are sent. But sometimes you can get to the wrong start. You can alight or head to a place where the start point can be just around you, but maybe the entrance or your koro is 10, 20 minutes away and you can get late. It's good to know where the water points are, the first aid points are. You never know when the need arises. The reason why it's important to know the cost profile for me, and some people say it depends on the individuals. Personally, I want to know what's going to bite me. So you can see like this, it's a bit squeezed because of the distance, the picture. But basically, you know that you will need to be able to put in a bit of energy there. It's not as bad as it looks here. It could be stretched a bit more. But basically, what this helps in is in energy distribution. You don't want to spend so much energy here thinking the whole thing is flat, then you find this thing. You're going to want to walk back that way. And then once you do energy distribution, then you're able to know, okay, I'm pacing for a sub 5. Here I will do XYZ. I'll have some good timings here. I'll drop time here and I'll save my legs even here so that I can use that energy to climb there. And then if you save your legs here, you take care of yourself. That's what my comrade coach used to say. David, you must take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, you will not, you will be okay. I'm not sure you will. Anyway, then you know that after that, then you have a duty going down, and then you are able to finish well. Review last details of travel to start point. Those guys who are traveling, you could be traveling out of the country, could be traveling to another town. Very, very important. review weather. And I know everyone is looking at the weather who is running Stanchart. And I know we've had instances where we've had not very good weather today, very good weather Stanchart, and not very good weather the day. So we are praying for good weather, but whatever the case, weather, like Dedan says, is one of the things you don't have control of. But in the course, we are hoping, and we are sure going to talk about it, that we shall be able to provide some mitigation for that. That is the route profile for the 21 kilometers. It follows the same route profile for the 42, but there's a point at which you exit and get into, so you start off same point, go around same point, but you exit somewhere around after Langata interchange, NHC bridge, then you turn around and go to the finish point. So it's basically about the same. So again, you can see that you'll be finishing, you'll require a bit of energy. I think when I drove the route, it was about, at about 14, 15, you start climbing. So you climb up to about 18 point something or near 19, then you descend to the finish line. That is the standard chartered Nairobi Marathon 42 kilometer route. And what I will do, I will actually take you through it. The animated profile of the route. Just 1 second. Let me just share another. Let me get this. Stop share. So that's the 42 kilometer route. Dedan, you can see it, yeah?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so we can just run through it. I just mentioned a few things. So we start off at just outside. So the main arena is in the Uhuru Gardens. We start off at somewhere around the Carnival entrance, right abreast Carnival entrance, but on the southern bypass. At the start line, there's some water, so I mapped that for water. So if you want to take a sip of water, remember don't take too much water. Then so that is where the start is. So sorry, I clicked something and it moved very fast. So water at 3 kilometers. And at about 6 kilometers, you have water, Keringet in 300 ml bottles. The turning point is at about 8 kilometers, then you get water at 9 kilometers, and there's a timing mat. Let me just hold a bit. So you turn off at around, somewhere around the industrial park. Right after that turn off at about, you turn off at about 8.2, 8 point something. You get to 9, there is water, and somewhere between that, there is a timing mat, just for your info. Here you can see the course profile. It looks near the same as what we were seeing, but now it's a bit spread out. Just in case someone gets lost, that is South Sea, and so on. 12.5 kilometers, you find water at that point. Actually, yeah. So there, at that point, at about 15 kilometers, and you'll start climbing towards the temple. The school for the Shuru something. There you have the 15 kilometer point. You will have oranges, bananas, melon, if the plant stays as should be, and water. I didn't put the first aid stations, but you can see them in the maps. I think we've shared those maps quite a lot. So here then you start climbing, so reserve your energy. So you'll also have Coke there as well. Again, they've done very well. Then you hit 18 kilometers. We have missed a point at 18. At 18 again, you will find, and that, I'm not too sure how we missed it. Sorry, I know why I'm not seeing it, because so 15 kilometers, there is that. I'm missing this up a bit. So at 18.5 kilometers, I've got a station as FWD, and it is right after the 18 kilometer. At the 18 kilometer marks, we are going to have we're going to have water, we are going to have melon, orange, bananas, and Coke. Right after, we have what I'm calling the FWD Cheer and Relief Station. We hope to have some Isikuti there, hopefully, inshallah, not Isikuti or someone who will make some noise. So we have that. We plan to put in some ice and some relief. The reason why we have it right there, we don't want people asking for water. This place being in the same place as guys are taking water to avoid crowding. Up to 18.5 kilometers, everyone is passing there. Of course, the 42 kilometer guys will have passed. The 21 kilometer guys will have passed. The 10 and the 5 also pass here. But the main focus will be on the 42 and the 21, but you will have already passed. And somewhere ahead here, the 21 kilometers, at about 19 kilometers, you will cross over to the other side. And I can run the 21 kilometer very fast without now taking you through the notes. You will cross over and you will only have about 2.1 kilometers to the finish line. So again, here, if you have some relief, you stay to the point. I'll have my tent there. We have a number of volunteers. We will have some people cheering. We'll also have some music, lots of music. If you get tired and you want to sit, you can relax there. And then we'll head up. So again, at 20 kilometers, we have water, Coke, melon. So we are well taken care of this time. We just need to make sure and follow up. And I know the recreational runners are pushing to make sure that the execution is as per plan. So about 3 kilometers apart. So there we are pandering the Kibera area. There'll also be, along the route, there is a lot of support from vendors. We have Smart Gym, we have vendor, we have ambulances, we have AAR. So it's quite packed differently this time, and we're hoping to get also people cheering. So 22.5 again, you have everything that you need, and this is just for the 42 now onwards. Again, at 25 kilometers, same stuff. And you can see now we are around there. We are heading to the highest point on the hill. I mean, in the race, and you'll be able to see that. At 27 kilometers or thereabouts, that is at the current interchange. Again, hydration, nutrition, etc. And just slightly ahead of that, we are then going to have another relief station. We have. I'm hoping to put in lots of ice in cooler boxes, so that even if it gets hot and with water, and we'll see how to manage that, we just make sure that we take care of the 42 kilometer guys for as long as they are on the course, hopefully. And we're asking all of us as we finish to also come in and help. Then we'll go on somewhere around the 29 kilometer mark. We shall have a turning point. Again, we shall have nutrition and hydration. So we turn back. So you see the highest point is 1855 meters, just for info. So they just mark that place, the highest point. And then we then start coming down. So if you've taken care of yourself, like some coach said, then here is when you reap. Here, one character is, I can see here, was flying in this place last time. So 31.5 again, opposite. So if you have a water point on this side, you'll have a water point on that side. Where we are located with the relief, and I know there's also a plan to put, there's also arrangements to put drinks on the course, personalized drinks. and there are some friends of mine coming who are from away who I'm going to be putting in those relief stations a bit far. Then we'll have that on the route. I mean, those on the course. So where you see water, there is water on the other side, basically. So the rest is now then you get it on the opposite side as you go along. So again, this is the one opposite 27 kilometers. Then 36.5 opposite the one that we had talked about, there will be. And then at 40 kilometers, you'll have again the final kick of bananas, oranges, Coke, water. Will also be, our relief station will also be just right after this. So if you're struggling, please just walk to the tent and we'll have people looking out and with sprays, as much sprays as we can get, just to get people to the finish line. I know 40 kilometers might look like you're at the finish line, but you're still far. If you're struggling, it can be quite far. So we're all hoping to be there to cheer, encourage, and push you to the last case. So that is what we just talked about again. And then you head, there's a way you twist, there's a place you twist and get to back to Uhuru Gardens. And then in the Uhuru Gardens, then you go around, there's a place where the 21 finishes and the 42 another location. I didn't get in when I was driving because I just finished at the gates because there's too much, I had to do a lot to get in at that time when I finished. The place is manned by the military, but yeah, basically that's that. Then when you go in, of course, there are vendors, there is a lot that is happening there and we should be able to see that. So basically because of time, because I've run through that and you know where the 21 are, let me go on. If someone would want us to run the 21, I haven't mapped the 10, but they all are on the same route, then we can go back to that. But let's go back to the main agenda, I mean to the main presentation, so that we can then complete and leave, and leave space for questions. So that is the 21 kilometers. Let me go to previous slide. So the difference is that you turn off here after the NHC turn, but the main route is the same. So you go through the same, come back here, take time to say hello to the zebras and the buffaloes on the course. If you are lucky enough, you might see a lion. If it sees a lot of people, hopefully not looking for a snack. So the difference is that now the 42 goes along here. The 10 will have cut off somewhere here. The 5 will have cut off somewhere else. So we'll all be on the same course. So that's the 10-kilometer route, 5-kilometer route again. There's a ramp to cross over at the Shri Kuch, that one, Swaminara, thereabouts, and then we all turn in after the Kibera underpassage. So basically the same route. So even those people who are running with their families, then you should be able to actually know generally where they are. This route coming back, you pass by the national park, and just at the fence, and we've been sighting animals over the last few days. Just a brief, just with the Fitness with David, we're organizing a bus tour. I looked at the link this afternoon. We just threw it today, just something to try, and we do this always in other races. So anyone, there's a link, and we can share it after this. So we'll be doing a route tour on the day on Saturday. We have a run in the morning organized by Bucket List, and I know Dedan, you're part of that. You'll be on that run. So maybe guys, if they want to come say hello, meet, chat with Dedan, that is early. That's at 7 o'clock, yeah?
Yes, 7 o'clock.
Yes. So the bus tour, based on the numbers that we get, we'll get a van or a bus or whatever, but we need to assemble by 9:15. So those guys who are doing the run and would like to join in, you can join in, but 9:15 we must assemble. Seated in the bus by 9:50, we must depart by 10. and the charges are there. It will take us about 2 hours, just slowly going around, etc. So we'll drive through the race routes to familiarize yourself with the course. We'll have some commentary. You'll have, for those guys who are not, who are new to Nairobi or new to the bypass, beautiful scenery along the route, a game drive for free. We just need to pay for the fuel for the bus and the hiring of the bus. So yeah, so hope to see a number of you there. Again, the thing is we're trying to create the same experiences we can out there. When I go out, I really want to do the bus tour. There are people who are probably pass on the bypass every day, so it doesn't matter to them, but there's someone who this tour could make a very big difference, and that's why we need to have those things around as we continue to improve our race. On the day, just a few highlights on what we shall be doing as FWD. I think we have talked about personalized support. There'll be quick massage in case there's any issues, runners relief on the route, lots of entertainment. Some people have talked a lot about photos. We haven't managed to be able to take the photos away. They are done in other races, but personally, and I know others are doing that also for their groups, but maybe open to those people who may not have those provisions. I'll have a cameraman on the route, maybe more, and we find a way of identifying those people who have done. Basically, there's a basic package that takes care of the personalized nutrition, the left luggage at the finish line, because we'll also be at the finish line, and also other clubs are at the finish line. They were also going to have shawarma at the finish line, the tent for Fitness with David. We'll have someone to stretch people. Food and refreshments on sale, you buy, and the link is there, and lots of entertainment amongst others. There's also other vendors and you can be able to see them at the finish line. And importantly, a place where you can probably say, let's meet there with your guys, and so that you're not looking for each other throughout the stadium, and somewhere to take a bite, sit, stretch. If you have any issue, we'll have a masseuse there. I'm working with the career Kim to have some masseuse just for, but not really a massage for day to day. It's just someone who may be struggling just to get them home. We're also getting some dance group from Kibera, some group just to also as part of supporting charity, to come and be there just to entertain and make the day just a bit different, a bit much more than just a race for our enjoyment. So the other key point, know your weather. Everyone is looking at the weather. So my good team, I had even forgotten that. So kudos to the team. I know they are here. They took this actually exactly what is expected. Hopefully it might not be that. We'll be more happier if it's not this than if it is, but keep monitoring. On the cheer tents, on the cheer places, I'll also put in some buckets with water and throw in ice. I'm looking for some sponges to just, so that guys can pick some sponge and jimwagilia just to cool yourself down. But just note the weather, don't panic, but it's good to know so that what you are wearing, how you hydrate, remember, and we have talked about it. If there's anything that you need to pay attention to among nutrition, hydration, and the shawarma and the dancers, is actually this particular point, because this can get quite something, yeah. So there are notes, conscious of overheating, be conscious that you need to take probably a bit more than you do. Remember for some of us who have very delicate skin, put sunscreen. Personally, I don't know what that is. Consider a hat. If it's cold, you never know. Dress up in layers. You could be doing another race where it's cold. Race day plan review. Review your goals. We talked about this before. Your pacing strategy, and I know we shall have some questions and discussions along that. Running alerts for those guys who are looking at PBs. You may want to know what alerts, because you don't want to go too fast the initial times. I think the issue is probably running too fast the first minutes, and then you can't run the later stages. Pacing notes, chorus. We don't have chorus here, but some guys may be doing chorus. Focus on your performance, sometimes not your time. Sometimes the time can really put you in a bit of a stressful situation. And we said the other day that you must have 3 goals, so that if some goals are disappearing, you keep running and you don't go home. One of us here says that one of the days they were running, they passed by their house and they could smell pancakes, and that was the end of that race. They just went home because they were already too tired. So have a fantastic goal. I can live with goal, a finished goal. I think I've said this before. Now I have I changed this to staying alive goal, finishing, then the rest follow. We must take care of ourselves. Things can happen in a race. Pacing strategy, we will go about that. You start slow in a marathon, you have a chance to finish fast. You may run negative splits. If you start at a reasonable goal pace, you can finish at the same pace, even splits. If you start too fast, you will finish too slow, positive splits. So things to consider. Think about the race in two halves. And of course, we have looked at the halves. One half looks easier than the other one. So just make sure, key for me is once you know the route, do what we call energy distribution so that you don't finish in what one of our tour guys in Comrade says, reduced survival mode. And I know it has happened to me a number of times where you are reduced to bare minimum and you have almost zero energy left in you. Why pacing? Why you should some key things why people pace in groups. If you're running into headwind, and maybe Dedan might say about this, Chicago is called the windy city, so sometimes there's a lot of wind. You must choose the group very well. You have to set the pace. I think we have gone through this in a nutshell. And this presentation, I will also share the recording. I believe I'm still recording. We also have pacers. These pacers are fellows who are going to be carrying some wing on their back. So we have on the 21 kilometers, 1.5 hour mark, we need a pacer there. We are still looking. The 1:45 hour seems very popular. John Terrer and Ashford Karuga will be driving that bus. So make sure you identify them. They will have flags like this with the time. So we shall make sure that they have a way of being identified at the start line. But anyway, the flag is longer. I don't think there's anyone who's going to be taller than the flag. So be around your guy so that you're not chasing him like you're sprinting the first 100 meters. If you're left by this guy, don't take the first 100 meters to catch up with them. Take the next 3 kilometers. You still catch up with them. 1:55 is a special request bus by a team, and Dedan is driving this one with Kahoru Mwangi. So that's a good one. So you just take note. 2 hour IMS is driving that one with the Jack. So I'm sure there'll be that will be a good one as well. Don't get into a bus that you should not get into. Basically, if you're going to Kitengela, don't get into one that is going to Naivasha. You will get into trouble. The 42-kilometer bus, we have none other than the champion of that course, Davis Gitari, who is with us here. He just arbitrated that course last year when it was launched. So this year he's saying, let me serve fellow Kenyans. And when Selas Tarimo from TZ, he's done very well. He just did, I believe, the 2:45 in Chicago, and he had done one in Berlin very well. So we're happy to have also a Tanzanian pacing. We are hoping a Ugandan will pace the 3:30, a Jamaican will pace the 3:45, and an American the 4, even if it's a local American from Kikuyu or Kitale or whatever, yeah, on a like note. Kit confirmation, very important. I know there is a bit of delays with kits. Please make arrangements to collect your kit in good time for your info. So that you don't get frustrated on Saturday or Friday, and I'm not sure what the last day is. Check your shoes, your gear, your gels, those traveling, remember, make sure that they are packed, gels and drinks. How to protect yourself before start if it's cold. Where to leave your things, there's a left luggage in the main arena. We are also offering that left luggage as part of what we are offering, and we shall post a link. Rest more the day before. When you come to Nairobi, don't spend the whole day walking on the fence of the national park looking at the animals. Set alarm and backup, sleep enough. We normally say the last day to the race, you don't sleep a lot, so try and sleep the days before the race. Those Go Expo, there's normally like a treadmill that simulates the marathon speed for Kipchoge, and now it's even faster. Personally, I don't step onto it, but I guess there's no harm in trying it at your own cost. Don't end up like this fellow. I'm sure he probably didn't run or probably ended up in a hospital. Pre-race activities, again, the day before, minimize your activities. Sometimes there's restriction on us, we are not able to because we have to work and we cannot run away from that. But as much as practical, if you can plan early and delegate or clear earlier, then you have a bit of the last few days to relax. Race morning, wake up, morning rituals. We all have rituals that are very key. They can make or break a race. like showing our vests here is part of the ritual of these fellows. That was Chicago 2018. Eating and hydration, dressing, and the commute, factor all that in. What to eat, 3 to 4 hours, especially if you're going for long. And like shorter races, the marathon challenges your fuel reserve. When you wake up, take something. The glucose is low. We say the nervous system consumes a lot of energy even in sleep. But just do exactly how you have been doing it in a race. If you're reading this for the first time, you may not want to try this, okay? And there's a lot of those notes. We shall look at them so that we save time for additional discussions with Mricho and Q&A. Again, something on caffeine is going to be on the notes, and we went through it the last time. This is the start area. We may not, oops, sorry about that. I think I may not be able to enlarge it, but basically we'll come in here. We have, oh, let me do this. Let me look at it on my phone just for the sake of, I think it's important. I'll enlarge it on my phone and point it out on the screen so that we can be able to appreciate what is there, and so that we don't do this and then we are looking for sorry, let me just find it on my phone. Can you bear with me? Mricho, maybe you can make some comment. Okay, I found it. Sorry, allow me to just go to it. Then when we open completely. Let me just open it. Found it, lost it, found it again.
Maybe as you try to open it, there's one thing I'd like to talk about.
Correct, go ahead.
It's the importance of, you see, when you get your bib,
yes,
it's important to fill in the details behind the bib. Yeah, because in case of an emergency, if you look at your bib, behind you'll see all that information, information requested there. It's very important to fill in the right details in the bib, your next of kin, your blood group, just so that in case anything happens to you during the race, it'll be easier for the medical people to be able to help you. So yeah, so don't just leave the spaces blank. Just fill the places and then make sure all the information right there is correct.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for that again, Mricho. And maybe while we are at it, and there's a point that we'll point out on that, we must mention that guys must also take care in case they're not familiar with the chip. You don't want to be creasing the chip because that's what they use for timing. Yeah. So back to this diagram. Sorry, you want to say something, Mricho?
Yes, don't just also make sure you don't fold the timing chip so that you don't miss your results.
Yes.
It's very important to take care of the bib because the bib now has your timing chip and also now your emergency details.
Yes. And you know, some guys, they may not be aware this thing can come off, can come loose, and you're like, this thing is just nagging, let me throw it away. Run with it. I know Wednesday is, I don't know whether Wednesday is online. Last year his came and he ran with it in his hand up to the finish line. So that is what you do if it comes off. Anyway, but just make sure you have pins. When you pick the bags, again, important, those pins can be a nuisance if you don't have. When you look for one, another 1,000 guys will be looking for pins. So you even if you drop your pin, you won't find it. So basically, the finish, the start will be outside, but the finish will come here. Right here on the green, let me see what they call the green. So we'll have, I believe, there is a finish line for 42, I believe, here, and for 21 there. I believe so. And if there's a guy from A6 here, they can just correct me. I'm just trying to look at the diagram to see if it shows here on my phone, which is the 42 finish. But basically, one of them is a finish line for the 42 and for the 21. Then when I zoom around here, this is a media platform. There's a media platform here. Somewhere here.
David, I can see Evans is in this meeting. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, my request is I had asked for the race guide, and he promised to have it shared tomorrow. So I'd request we can have it tomorrow.
Yes.
So that we can share it with all the runners.
Correct. Yeah. So
that is okay. Yes. We shall have it tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Evans, for that. Yeah. But
to
the left is 42.
The left is 42. Okay, good. I got it right. And then and how do we come, Evan? So the 42 will come this way, the 21 will go that way.
That is correct.
Okay. Sawa. Sorry, I left. Yeah, that's good. And thanks, Evans, for that. And thanks also for supporting us that much. So we have the bag drop-offs. And again, just for the sake of the guys, as we also will also share the risk guide. I think it's important. Let me just run through them. So these are seedling stands. This is security screening. This is 21 and 5 kilometer car parking. Permanent washrooms here. This is the Carnival Road. This is the information tent in case you are looking for information. Information tent, kit collection. I think that's happening currently. Taxi drop-off, VVIP parking, VIP massage, VIP tent. There are vendors here, a number of them. There are clubs. There's going to be TJ there. There is Urban Swarras there. There's a kiddie zone here. Fitness with David will be on this block. And basically, you can get a lot of the food vending guys here. So yeah, in a nutshell, and then there's going to be Coke and water at the finish line. But the rest, I think we can get in the race guide. If there's any questions, then we can ask for them. We can ask when we open for Q&A. Warm-up areas, the area is very diverse for warm-up. You just need to make sure that by the start time, you are at your start area. And we had given the reasons why we warm up. We had gone through all this the last webinar, and because I'm going to post the notes just to leave time for Q&A, which is very critical, I'll skip this. Common things were familiar shoes, no new pacing strategy. Again, all this we went through, but for anyone who may be new, they will be available, and I will share them in form of the video. I'll actually put it also on my YouTube channel. You can be able to review again. Issues on the course, you may get stitches. There's first aid on the course. Mostly we said it's because of poor breathing. The fix, your diaphragm is often unable to handle the new demand. Slow down, try to take more even breaths and stop if you need to in order to relax. Engaging your core can also help to support your new breathing demands. Gastrointestinal distress, this is a very common one. And we say the reasons: blood gets shunted, then you can't digest. Then the food stays in your stomach and you get aches. I'll go through that one quickly because we also delved through it a lot, and the notes will be there. Again, mental power, when those heels comes, when the cramps comes, when the tiredness comes, remember the hard courses you have run, the advantages you may have. This time we may not say that because normally we go and run at sea level, but still you may have the advantage of taper. The fact that you're well rested, and some other great experiences. And remember, it's an experience. Ultimately, you need to make the most out of it. Anxiety happens to all of us, and it always starts with those tiny words that together pack a major punch. What if I don't get my PB? What if I don't finish? What if my stomach hurts like last time? What if? So, but just take it easy. There's a lot to worry about. I think we're answering a lot of the questions. And then there's also things that we say are not in your control as they come. Take care of the ones that you're in control of. The ones that you're not in control of, manage them as they come. Okay, focus on the moment, use positive thinking, reconnect with your why, find a way, not an excuse. Circumstances where the wisest thing is to drop off if you're limping. If you feel that you're hurt, and in the marathon, your body will ache. So it's not those aches, there's an injury. There's sometimes a thin line, you've got to be able to identify that. If you have a specific pain that is increasing progressively, if you're lightheaded, very importantly, stop. Stop, slow down, maybe not to an abrupt stop if you can, or stop and walk, don't just stop. But lightheaded is not a good sign. Either you are thoroughly dehydrated, you have run out of sugars, something is not working right, that stop. There's always another race, there's only one body, you have two legs, one body, many races. If you have overcome by severe cramps, a torn muscle, then you need to do that. And there are ways to mitigate this. Hydrate. When it's very hot, you're more likely to get cramps when it's hot because of loss of salts. We are arranging to get some salts on the course. Of course, we have the deep freeze, etc. But even that will not, it will only help you if you are not too badly beat, yeah? So it's not that when you're cramping because all your sugars have run out, you stop cramping or your salts. No, you still need the salts to stop cramping. So just make sure you carry your isotonic. If it's expected to be a hot day, make sure you are taking a bit more isotonic than regular water, because then the regular water is, without going overboard. Again, there's a balancing act. Finish line, congratulations. You pick your medal, see if you need any attention. There is food around, there's entertainment. We want to wait for guys. If possible, like Evan says, we want to wait for the last guy to finish. So let's hang around and make sure that we also see those guys who have put in. I think the guys who put in the most time are the guys who ran the entire time. And Evans, I'll give you an opportunity because there's been concern about what time to open the roads and the race starts. I'll give you an opportunity once we finish. The issue that is recovery we have talked about. And then we can go to Q&A, and I don't know whether we want to give Evans a chance to comment, or we first get the questions, any comments that he may have, then we can have Mricho take us through comments and questions, etc. And then if there is questions that Evans needs to address, then maybe he can address. Thank you. Evans?
Thank you very much, David. I think I'm quite happy that we've gotten to a point where we're even having such activities. I think it's very timely, and it means that the marathon is growing. So thank you for that. A pleasure to meet you all. I think the start times, I'll just talk about first I'll start with the route.
Evans,
yeah.
Sorry, let me introduce you. Evans is the organizer for Standard Chartered Marathon. People must be wondering, who is Evans? Thank you. If you want to add anything, yes, you can add, just for clarity.
Thank you. So thank you for that, David. So for starters, we are going to close the road at midnight, the night, just midnight of the 29th. We are going to open the roads. Officially, the time we've been asked to open up the roads is at 1:30. So traditionally, that would have been 12 or 12:10 or even 1. We've pushed it to 1:30. Even in today's presser, we confirmed with the police that we are going to open up at 1:30. One thing that we are very clear about is that we'll not leave until all the runners are finished, until the last person comes. In fact, this time we are hoping for the people who are not running, who are organizing like us, will go and run and bring the last runner home, including the security dancers that you have. I can see just a few things, pointers I've just seen there, David, that I can answer as we continue. I've seen a lot of questions around parking. We do have enough parking. The main parking, and let me not call it Raya, I think that is where the VVIPs are, and that is going to be at Carnival. Carnival Grounds is able to handle majority of these parking lots. So apart from that, we have Moinuchumi. That's where we've allocated for the sponsors. But the Carnival Grounds are enough. We've seen this in previous events where we've had them. Carnival is enough to hold the capacity that we are looking for. Yes, for Stephen Otieno, the parking lot is very close to the starting point. It's actually quite close to the starting point. It's where we have the warm-up area, especially for 5K, and then they can go to the assembly area up to the point that is the starting point. Just key to note before tomorrow, before we share the runner's guide, The races are going to be as follows. Wheelchair race is going to start at 6:30. 42 kilometers is going to start at 6:45. Relay is going to start at 6:45. 21 kilometers is going to start at 7 o'clock. 10 kilometers is going to start at 7:45. And 5 kilometers is going to start at 8:30. I think a key concern that that we've tried to address as we're looking at this, is the fact that it's very sunny. I think today was one of those very sunny days, and I think there was a lot of concern around the runners trying to do their personal best when it's very sunny, and that was a big concern, especially for 10K. So we took that into consideration. David, you'll take something about, do you want me to take this from Rosemary about corporate relay race, route and water? I think you've covered route and water. Or do you want me to touch more on that?
I think you can do the corporate relay.
Okay.
Yes.
So for the corporate relay, ideally it's going to be, we have a team, we call a team of 5. It's a team of 5, and the 5th person is a substitute. So ideally we have 4 people running close to about 10 kilometers each. So the start point, the first runner is going to start at the same start point as 42K. Their turning point is about 1 kilometer before the 10-kilometer turning point, which is just close to the College of Insurance, or South Seas to the left. They'll turn back, come back to where the turning of 21-kilometer, 10-kilometer end relay is. That's where they are going to turn, just after where David Thu was talking of the national housing area, where there's an overpass for Kibera. So they will, they will turn back, but as opposed to entering to go into, for the first 3, as opposed to entering into Uhuru Gardens, they'll go straight, like they're going back to the start point. There is going to be a tent, a handover tent for the relay, and they'll hand over the baton until you get to the last person. And the last person, or who's the 4th person, is going to run and go to finish at where the 42-kilometer person, the 42K is finishing. So I think I've covered those. In terms of route, David, I've covered that.
Yes.
In terms of water, we do have enough water. I think this time we've tried as much as possible to actually have water close to about, it's between 2.5 and 3.5 kilometers. We've covered quite a bit of that. We've added the element of fruits, and this time we are going to cut. The last year we were afraid because of COVID, we could not cut the fruits. So this time we are going to cut the fruits. The other thing that we've also added, especially for 42K, we have soda going up from Kibera going up. We have sodas all the way up. I think that's very much needed. The one time or the few times I've tried to do 21K, I think that soda really helped me. So maybe David would advise otherwise, but yes, it did help me. So I've covered everything, David. Thank you.
Oh, okay, and then I took through, the same, I'm not too sure when you joined, but I took the guys through the entire route with where all these things are located with that, the relief video. I played it here. So someone had asked, what is the turning point for 42 kilometers? What do you call that concrete something after the bypass? There's a name. Something.
Alliance Concrete.
Alliance Concrete. Yeah.
Yes, that is before the Kikuyu Karinde interchange.
Yes, and that's at 29 kilometers.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Then someone had said, let me see, they don't allow me to see many that are related to the presentation. The slides, yes. Tomorrow we have a chat group, and I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Fitness with David. I will post the video there for the slides, and I'll also share on the chat groups on my Instagram and the various chat groups. So it should be there. Maybe Evans, what you can do is type in the start time. Someone is saying, just because they may not have sort of grasped everything or crammed, or maybe didn't have a pen and some guys are driving, maybe you can type them in there so that they are there. Yeah, you can take on the rest. I've seen one question on coffee. Yeah. And then you can take the other questions. Dedan, go ahead. Sorry.
I think there's a question here by Yvonne. She's asking, water will be served in 300 ml or 500 ml bottles. I think Evans can answer that.
Yeah, that's 300. I actually checked with him. So it's 300.
300.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The other question is from Charity. Please expound on benefits of drinking coffee pre-race. I think this is more of a personal preference.
Yeah.
And also it's of course coffee has caffeine, and caffeine is they say caffeine is a stimulant. So in a way it will keep you more alert. But it's more of I would say it's more of personal preference. If it works for you,
I think Dedan has lost. We have lost him. Maybe let me. He's frozen. What I can do is quickly go through that slide, but let me see. It is.
yes, and also with the gels. There are gels that have something that you have to.
Dedan, we had lost you totally.
Okay. Yes, I was saying with coffee has caffeine, and we all react differently to caffeine. So if it works for you, then it is okay. It is okay. Yeah, you can have your coffee before the race.
And maybe let me add that. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. What it does, it causes increased alertness, but again, like Dedan is saying, personal preference. There's something I can't take that do wonders for other people, and vice versa. I take coffee. The latest gels have caffeine. Sorry, Motain, the dehydration drinks have caffeine, but basically it causes an increased alertness, decreased perceived exertion, and therefore reduced fatigue. It's just very minimal. It will not make you move from 4 to speed 4 to move from 4 hours to 3:45. You still have to do the work. It takes time to reach effective levels in the body. Taking the appropriate dose of caffeine 60 minutes before training or racing can stimulate performance. Again, you practice, because some people say they get very dehydrated with coffee. Using caffeine together with carbohydrates provides an enhanced performance effect compared to taking each in isolation. And that is why nowadays the gels have caffeine in them. The drinking stuff, the isotonic have caffeine in them, as opposed to finding caffeine and a gel, or caffeine and an isotonic. So basically that, but you just practice. But it may work, may not work for you. Yeah, carry on, Dedan.
With my experience, initially caffeine used to affect me. I used to have stomach upset if I take a gel with caffeine, but with practice, I'm now comfortable using gels with caffeine. Okay. So it's a matter of knowing, practicing in training. Yes, practice in training and know what works for you. If it works for you, then go for it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. There's another question. Are there separate and multiple warm-up areas where would one do a warm-up?
And I think Evans has answered that. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was trying to answer on chat. Yes, there is a warm-up area that's inside Carnival grounds, just closer to where you've parked up, the area where you usually have, for those who know Carnival, where you do have the ticketing. That's where you have the warm-up area. Then we funnel people up, because we have the first one being there, the second one being towards where people have assembled as you walk up to the southern bypass, to the start line.
Fantastic.
Okay. There's another question here by Kathy. For first timers, how do you make sure we don't get lost? Hope there are markings on where to turn. I think, yeah, yes. I think Evans has answered that. Yeah, yes. Evans, yes, we have plenty of branding on the route for turning points.
Yes.
And we have toilets.
Yeah, another question is about toilets on the route. Yes. Evans?
We have toilets. We, as opposed to, we were debating between having more, as opposed to having evenly numbered. So we have evenly numbered toilets throughout the route.
Are there toilets at the start point?
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe for the new person who is asking if you get lost, this unlike maybe, and I know this happens sometimes when guys come for club runs, they don't know how to read the chalk, or maybe that's not the case, but in a race, the branding is very, very clear. The routes are not through estates and turns and twists. You even if you missed a turn, but it's very difficult to miss a turn, because when you start off, for example, if you're doing a 10, all the people you'll be running with will be doing a 10. Of course, you may catch up, or some 21 kilometers may catch up. You may just follow them, just because they are running, and you follow them without realizing they are a 21 kilometer guy. But just look on the route, you should be able to know where to turn. But basically, if you know Langata Road and you don't necessarily have to know it to be able to find your way back, because the branding is very good. Just after the Langata interchange, you have the Kibera NHC crossing. Right ahead there is going to be the turn for the 21, the 5, and the 10. I believe I'm correct on that one, Evans, yeah?
That is correct. I see the recce have been working quite well.
Yes, completely. I know those. They did take your two pieces of wood. They were still there on Saturday. Yeah.
There's another question. Will there be a bag check available at the start line?
Yes, there is a maybe Evans, you want to answer?
She's referring to
I think she's referring to luggage check-in.
Left luggage. Yes,
yeah.
There's left luggage in Carnival.
At Carnival.
Yes.
There was a concern last year on the left luggage section being opened a bit later. I think maybe that's something you will consider, Evans, for it to be open. If people are starting at 6:45, then it should be open a bit earlier.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that is fine.
So maybe we look at what time?
Ideally, should be there. I mean, I think the guys even 6 is good enough. Yes.
6. Yes, I think 6 is good enough. Yes.
Yeah.
The reason no stammering is because every time we have a run, David Thuo shows up at 4 a.m.
I'm going to be there at 3:55. I have to break that record. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Next question is for first timers. Are the start times adhered to?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, maybe to add on this one, this is a question from Wangari. Yes. For I believe for all races that are World Athletics certified usually start on time. So if your start time is 7 and you get to the venue at 7:30, the race will already have started. So yeah, so I think on that one there is starts on time.
Yeah, add the fitness with David ones also.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a question: can I change my race even if I registered for a different one?
Yes, you can.
Is there a deadline for that, or
and how?
Ideally, if you do it before, I've been trying to push for everyone to do everything before Friday. Before the 28th, I would be very happy if you did that. You can do it at Uhuru Gardens.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Okay. Another question: for those who will be coming via Uber, where will the drop off point be?
So if you look at the map, where you have kit collection, Uhuru Gardens, there's a taxi drop-off. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Then you'll walk up there.
Yeah. And it's very convenient.
Yeah.
Evans, the one thing maybe I can add here, security. Unajua kuna runners wanakujanga sio kukimbia. They come to run with people's things. Maybe that one. And in case just we know we have discussed this, but maybe you can. I believe you'd have put additional mitigating measures in this case, including when guys drop off and as they are walking to the start line, etc. Maybe some comments of comfort.
Yes, especially that area that you're talking about. That's ideally what you'd call the red zone. So we've deployed quite a lot of security. So you'll see a lot of security personnel in the parking in that area. So I think we've put together, I think, more than 900 security officers who will be on ground and around the route, which I think is quite a generous number. So yeah, we are feeling very secure about the plan that we have.
Okay. Not to mention that the stadium is also by the military, so hopefully no one can mess. I hope, yeah.
That's true.
Dedan.
Okay. Someone asking, Fred is asking, photography would be a great improvement for these races. Having an online repository of photos after the race, even if it's for a short time.
So just to answer that, Fred, I think key thing that we decided to concentrate on is the quality of the data, and that means your race numbers and ensuring that part is aligned. Then the next phase will come to now is you can now get the photography being done on the route, but it's something we are definitely working on, but not in this race.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I think like I will have a photographer on the route. We just need, there's a registration to be done just because then he will know, we need to know who to send the photos to, etc. Where a group of people, you may not be able to sort of batch those photos. So he will only take for those guys who probably are registered, and then people can select theirs just as one thing. And so we have a booth at the 18-kilometer for photography. We also have a photo booth at the finish line in our tent, which is around this place after the kiddie zone, with a photographer there. I believe there will be standard chartered photographers, maybe, or media photographers in the arena, but maybe just to get the photos might be what it is, and then phones, etc. In our booths at the finish line or on the course, I mean, you feel free to come and take a photo with your phone if you have it, and then those interested will. I think I can post a link for where you would register for any of the additional things that we are offering. I'll just put the link on.
The next question is: a motorbike allowed on the route if one wants to follow a runner and take videos of the runner?
That is a no, for the sake of safety of the runners. That is a no. We only have accredited motorbikes on the route.
And
okay.
maybe
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just to answer that question, you can imagine one wants a bike, 100 people want a bike, then it becomes a bike race and the hazards, etc. Then it stops being a race. So I think there are many other ways of doing it. I mean, people do position people along the route, but to follow one person exactly, unless they are winning, maybe that's new. So it becomes a hazard because that bikes, etc. You can appreciate that as much as one would want that. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is: how soon will the results be published?
We are aiming to have it done at least in 2 hours. They should be published.
Okay. There's a question by Surinda. I have just read somewhere that the start times have changed. Is that correct? maybe I can repost the start times. Let me do that. Yeah, let me do that. Yes, the start times have been let me resend. Yes, the start times have been reshared on the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a question here by Charity. Last year we had obnoxious drivers driving pickups following elites. Will this be the case this year too? They were scaring and distracting other runners.
Unfortunately, Charity, that was a special request by media. So maybe we can have a discussion to make them, I don't know, to make them less obnoxious.
Yeah, I think probably what happens is that they do not, some people will come to the race,
maybe better. They
do not appreciate it's a race and they just want to meet their one intention and they don't care if they run over other people. I think it's they must, whoever is on that course must know that the key importance of that event is the runners. Yeah.
Okay. What of those who have not received the race numbers? How will we collect the kits?
So what you can do, if you've registered and you've not received the race number, the first point is if you've made the payment, you can go to Uhuru Gardens and we can be able to track and trace. So there are two sets of things that have happened. There are those who are allocated for those who registered before the original deadline and those who registered after. So if you registered after, ideally you're going to be allocated for your race number at Uhuru Gardens. So when you go to the kit collection, you'll be able to get your race number.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, David.
Maybe Evans, you can also highlight what times you are at Uhuru Gardens for the sake of early birds or guys coming from work.
We are. Sorry, I needed to look at the official communication. I know we are there from 8 to 5, just 1 minute. We are there from 8 to 5.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Evans, there's a special request. On Saturday, we have the shakeout run.
Yeah.
Is it possible for the kit collection to be opened earlier, maybe at 7:30? Because we start the run at 7 and it's a 5K run. So that those who will come for the shakeout run can also be able to pick their kits.
That can be done. That will be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the next question. Can I cycle with a running bib to support a 42K run after my 5K for support purposes?
No. Because ideally we have a very small route. So same way you'd appreciate when Charity was saying you have the pickups who are interfering with other runners. The same way is when if you would have a bike, the same thing would happen to them. We would interfere with them, with their experience and trying to beat their time.
And I think we have seen incidents where riders, runners have been hit by bikes, and we really wouldn't want that to be the case, especially when we clearly know that that is possible. Yeah. There's a question that we may have missed, Dedan.
Yes.
Let me just see. I had it in mind, but my family would like to be at the finish line when I get there. How will they access the venue? I guess that depends on what time they want to come in, because the roads will be closed from, say, where do you close Langata Road from, for example?
No, ideally all we are closing, you can drive all the way to, you can easily drive. The only thing you can't use is a bypass. Yes. So we don't close Langata Road. Okay. We only close from Langata Road to to the southern bypass.
Yes.
What they can do, we have access for the spectators into the venue.
Yes.
Using the runners will use the left side into the venue. General public will use the right side. So yes, there's access for the spectators to access that. I've seen a question, 2 questions which I can just finish. Can I send someone to collect my bib? Yes, you can, as long as they come with the confirmation. There's been challenges collecting group kits, a lot of errors like male, female. I think that is usually data. I think at one point I've even seen some groups that have sent, and we could clearly see the errors from the onset. So that's why I know it takes a bit of time. The solution is counter checking before leaving with your kit. We've seen quite a number of errors even with the data that is being submitted.
Okay. Good. There doesn't seem to be any other questions unless any that come in. Anyone else with a comment or any other comments, Dedan? Okay.
Okay, the question is, which is the best way of securing the timing chip on the bib? On the bib, that is, does it fall off? Can it fall off?
No, it cannot fall off.
Yeah, I think it's a new person who may not understand maybe how it is. Maybe Dedan, you can show us. It's not like a chip that is attached. It is actually a permanent fix.
Yes.
Yes, it's part of the paper.
This is the bib, yes.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to fold. If you fold, you will destroy the chip. So just make sure that the bib is not folded.
Yeah. So that's the first time. Congrats and welcome. We were talking about growing recreational running. So welcome, feel at home, and I hope you enjoy the experience. It's bound to be better than has been before. So karibu sana. Okay, go ahead.
Evans, there's a question. My bib was swapped today. When should I expect my biodata to reflect on your system and perhaps receive confirmation email?
Okay, so thank you for that, Hinga. So if your bib was swapped, what we are going to do on Friday, and on the 28th, yeah, that's on Friday, we are going to do a new final closure or sweep through the data. So when we do that, you'll get a new confirmation, ideally Friday night or Saturday morning. That's when you're going to get your confirmation email. So
sorry, go ahead.
I can explain that again. If for instance, when we registered the first lot or the first batch that had registered, we allocated, the system allocated bibs. That's why they all got emails at that point. So after you swap the next lot where we've done either manual allocation or made changes, we do a sweep again, and then it will allocate and send the emails again. So that's what will happen on Friday night. Thank you.
This is a comment and a challenge to Evans. I think as Kenyans, we know how number one, as Kenyans, we are always last minute people. Maybe to avoid all these issues, next time we should open registration for Stanchart a bit earlier. I'm sure if the registration was open maybe sometime in May or June, all these issues will not be coming up at this time. Maybe next year you should look into having registration for Stanchart a bit earlier so that some of these issues can be solved a bit earlier, not 2 or 3 days towards the race.
I do agree. I thought I could not preach it more. I could not pray for more because honestly, last minute is a very big headache. But yes, I genuinely will take this and even advise the organizing committee on the same. I don't think we can emphasize it enough that the more time we give, and even the more time to even pack and look through errors like the ones that have been talked about, I think that's important. I could see a question from Surinder
Yes.
about water points and has been circulated. So I don't know what it would mean by what they've experienced in the past, but I know what we've done. We've increased the frequency of the points. We've tried to add as much as possible. If that will help, at least we're hoping that will help. The other thing I think we asked for, when I spoke to some of the running clubs, we said maybe some of you can volunteer, so that you ensure that enough water is kept. You know, sometimes you might have volunteers who eat up all the fruits or the soda, or even pack them up. So sometimes I think that happens, and it has happened in the past. We might allocate enough soda, but someone might take them for other reasons. So having volunteers will also help. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think what we'll do, Dedan and maybe other educational runners reps here, we will create a list of volunteers and position them together with the teams where there is water, from maybe on every table, just for a bit of guidance from, because some of these volunteers are just volunteers to just hand in the water. There's a bit of technical things that they need to look at, and even as it's running out, is there another table that may have more water and it can quickly be brought, those kinds of situations. Yeah.
Okay, then Laiecha is saying a good point, Dedan. Even with the t-shirt collection, there has been disappointment up until now. So the earlier the process starts, the more efficient the process is likely to run. And then the CK, good point, Dedan. Perhaps next time, as well as they can share the route maps earlier, like they have done in other times. It's a bit of a challenge sharing it close to race day.
Yeah.
Evans, you can hear the at least you can see the comments from and the concerns from the recreational runners.
I think in terms of the route.
Yes.
Yes. I think in terms of the route map, we've had a new route, and there are a lot of changes that we've brought on board. So we needed to consult quite a bit, especially with AK and the rest of them, before we could even release it. There's been a lot of back and forth. That's why we've released it later in the day. If you'd appreciate that, I think in future editions you'd just replicate the same thing, because we've had our learnings around it. So I think that's something that we've tried to do. In terms, I think I've covered all the questions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I think that's good. We're at our 1 hour and a half mark, and I know. Have you talked about pacing groups? Yes, we talked about them. The pacers are there. We are still looking for 4 more, and I'll close this tomorrow. For the guys, let me just quickly go back to that slide. So what we'll do if we don't have the pacers for those groups in good time, then we are going to, or if we don't get people to pace them, then we are going to see what to do. But I'm really trying to make sure that we have the pacers. But so far we have up to, I think, we have the 145 bus, 155 bus, 2 hour bus for the half marathon, and we have the 345 bus. Sorry, let me just take that kindly. Sorry. Okay, I'll have to. Let me locate it so that for the sake of the person asking, just post it. And then we'll wrap up. So that's what we have. So we have the 3 hour bus. So 42, we are looking for those drivers. If you feel you are capable, let me know. and we are going to complete this. I'm going to close this tomorrow so that we can finalize the logistics. Thank you. Anyway, maybe any final remarks, Evans, Mricho, maybe you can start with Evans.
I think we answered Surinda's question. We'll do more than 6 hours because we'll open at 1:30. I think I'm quite excited. I'm actually very excited about this. I was hoping one day I'll experience this from the other side. That I would be a runner and I would be experiencing this this whole session of pacing and everything. So thank you, David. Thank you, Dedan. Thank you for putting this together. I think it's something that's very necessary. I look forward to a successful marathon. I think we'll have an amazing experience. As I keep saying, it can only get better. We can only make this experience better. Thank you.
Dedan.
There's a question from Kinara. How can I identify the pacer for sub 145? I think, yeah.
They will have a flag. The pacers will have a flag like this. We don't have enough flags, so out of every pacing group, there'll be a flag like this, and maybe the other pacers will have a balloon with the same timing. So that is how you identify your bus. And we said, pick them up early, just watch them. They'll be warming up around the warm-up area. I'll form a group for warm-up for pacers tomorrow. And of course, these are guys who have experience. They will be able to be looking at the course profile. So they sort of trying to help energy distribution throughout the course. So that's what you look out for. And if there any chance they are far away from you, we say don't catch up with them in the next 100 meters, otherwise you won't finish. Just catch up with them over a long distance of time. Yeah. Dedan?
Okay, someone is asking, there's no sub 5-hour bus.
Jamani, tukipata space tutaweka tu kila.
Yes.
We just need people. We just need volunteers.
Yeah, true.
People, some people want to run. If you pace sub 5, you have to be a little faster than 5 so that 5 is comfortable. So a pacer paces a pace that they are comfortably going to run. Hautaki kuokotwa na your passengers.
Okay. Yeah, I think no, there are no more questions.
Yeah. Dedan, final remarks?
For me, final remarks is let's turn up on Sunday and do our best. I always say Stanchart is always home. This is where all our running journeys started. I'm sure every one of us has a story about Stanchart. For me, my story is my first Stanchart I did it with the rubber shoes, those ones from Bata. And I really suffered after that. So all our journeys start at Stanchart, and yeah, on Sunday let's turn up and do our best. I'm sure many of us who have trained will get their personal best on this day. Some of us will get qualifying times for other major races. So on Sunday, turn up and do your best. And yeah, wishing every runner who is running on Sunday all the best. Also on Saturday, we have a shakeout run, which starts at 7 a.m. at the same venue. So you're all invited to come out and do an easy 5K, around 30-40 minutes to prepare for Sunday's race. We'll have a warm-up session, a 5K run, and then a stretching session after that. And then you can collect your kit and go now rest as you prepare for race day. And thanks, David, for organizing this, and looking forward to the next one.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, all. Thank you so much, Dedan. I think it's been very instrumental in having your expertise around. Thank you all for taking time. I'm actually quite excited. I'm not running. I'm normally excited when I'm running. I think I'm more excited to support. And there are many of us supporting in different ways, the pacers. There are some going out for ourselves. We are excited for you. And we hope that in one way or another that we shall all have a great experience and also be part of creating a great experience for those around us as we run, for those who will be running if we finish before them, to stay around, cheer them up. I think there is enough food in the area, there is enough water for us to be able to hang around until the last runner finishes. It is our greatest race in the country, and that's why we are trying to bring what we see out there. We may not all be able to travel to another town, another city to run, but we say we must grow what is ours, because that is what we shall always own, and Stanchart is ours. And we are looking forward to an awesome experience. If there are any other discussions, there are areas you can plug into. I think like we have said, we have social media avenues that you can contact when there are other questions, because this is our last webinar before the race. We also try to keep this going even after the races, so that it's not just about when we have the races. In fact, importantly for me is to be able to even have them earlier so that people can know how to train. So we'll also discuss with the various stakeholders, Dedan and them, to see how we can do that. Thank you so much, Evans. Evans has been very, very instrumental in as much as we would, of course, want to see ourselves in the strides of Boston and Chicago and all that. We know that Rome wasn't built in one day, but I think Evans is working with us to put a brick on another every other time. He listens, he passes our information. We are seeing a lot of traction, especially with things like the fruits we are seeing, the water, the separation, and also the ideas that we come up with. Let us also make sure that we are part of making them implementable. I always say that the easiest thing in this world is to complain, and it's the easiest thing anyone can do. But the greatest thing we can do is to be part of solving the problem. Thank you and have a good time, and see you on the course on Saturday for the shakeout and Sunday for the big day. Thank you. If anyone has a comment, they can say. We can hang around for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, or a question.
A question, yeah.
There's a question that has come to my WhatsApp. How do I join the 2 hours bus? The buses will have what do you call this, David?
The flag. It's a flag.
Yes, the buses will have the flag.
And probably they think you take them from a certain stage on a light note, but these guys will just be warming up around the start line.
Yes. Yeah, so they will be at the start line. So if you're looking for the 155 bus, I'll be carrying the flag. The sub 2 hour half marathon, IMS or Jack will be carrying the flag. So that's how you identify the bus. And yeah, you just join in. You just join in. You don't need to register or do anything. You just join in the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Rinda, for always encouraging us. We always look forward to. I keep saying, if I'm able to run as much as you run at your age, I'll have achieved a lot. Thank you.
And yeah, and there are very many requests for other buses for other times. And so we are requesting runners who can do other buses to join in and pace.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. If someone is available, they can contact me on.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's. I guess that's it. So I think then we can think even the numbers have. Yeah. Any other comments? Then we can. I'm trying to. Okay, cheers. Then we'll catch up on the course.
Okay.
Thanks, Dedan. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Karibu sana.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
And a number of guys from TZ, I think from Uganda. That's
Yes, yes.
yeah, no, that is fantastic. Bye. Thank you.